Meet an office worker who entered an exploitative company that completely absorbs his life until suddenly one day his city is struck by a zombie apocalypse and he finds a new meaning to life. Now we see the protagonist typing on his computer with a tired and sleepy expression, while in the background, we hear Kazuki asking someone if they came in with a fever of 38 degrees. However, this doesn't matter to him. The only thing that matters is meeting work deadlines, even if it means working so much that it's as if he has blood on his hands. Frustrated and furious, he just wants to be left alone when it's all over. And then we see how the protagonist scolds himself for almost falling asleep, insulting himself, calling himself an idiot. But we realize it's just a dream as the protagonist wakes up, shouting "Sorry, boss." When Tendou fully wakes up, he realizes he's in an apartment. He remembers that he no longer has to go to work, so he walks out to his balcony. There, he enjoys stretching all the muscles in his body and enthusiastically greets the dawn with a cheerful good morning. He then tells us that his 3 years of lost vacation begin now, and he plans to have a lot of fun. Next, we see Tendou starting to clean his apartment. He tosses bags of trash off the balcony, and they all fall onto a large group of zombies below. Tendou also vacuums and finally does his laundry. He even polishes his furniture, and all of this brings him great joy because he couldn't catch up on 3 years of cleaning. He takes pride in having a clean bed, believing it translates to having a clear mind. As he heads to his refrigerator, he remarks that he can't remember the last time he felt this good. The protagonist grabs a beer from his fridge, mentioning how much he had been craving it. As he savors the beer, he feels extremely joyful, expressing that he never imagined he'd skip work and enjoy a beer early without any obligations. He even goes as far as to call the beer holy water, but then corrects himself, saying it's the drink of the gods. With tears in his eyes, he talks about how he feels guilty about enjoying beer on a workday. He finds it beautiful to be free from work and obligations, comparing this situation to paradise. Meanwhile, as we see the zombies, a news channel airs aerial shots of Tokyo with multiple fires. The reporter can't believe what's happening in the city. She's even worried that her studio might be invaded by zombie workers. The news anchor is terrified and mentions that there's no internet or telecommunications, possibly explaining why the government hasn't made an announcement yet. She's uncertain if there's even a government still in existence. The lady tried to continue reporting, but a zombie managed to reach her, cutting off the transmission. The protagonist watches his TV while enjoying his beer, even though he's feeling fine. However, he believes that the world is in a pretty bad state, causing him to wonder what will happen next. He realizes his beer is empty, so after thinking for a while, he decides that today will be his day for drinking beers. He plans to stay in his room with an ice-cold beer in his hand, relaxing and reclaiming the last 3 years of his life that he spent working. Tendou heads to the fridge to look for beers, but he's surprised and frustrated to find that he's run out. He searches for a beer everywhere, but unfortunately, that was the last one. He kneels in front of the fridge, complaining about the bad timing of running out of beer on the very day he wanted to relax. He contemplates whether he should go and find more beer, but as he looks out from his balcony at the zombies, his expression changes completely. He's too lazy to go get more beer, but then he sees the cans of beer he had already consumed and realizes he can't relax without them, so he has no other choice. So he makes the decision to go get more beer. In another scene, 2 people are standing in front of a blocked door. The woman says that no one will come to help them, not even the police or the military. Tearfully, she asks the man beside her what they're going to do. He tells her not to despair and that they have to endure one more day like this. But the woman gets angry and questions how she could possibly endure another day while the zombies are at their door. She asks how they're going to survive, pointing out that they're literally living through the end of the world. Frustrated, the man strikes the steel bars of the balcony as he's unsure of what to do. He starts pleading for help, but suddenly, he turns his head and sees the protagonist, causing both of them to scream in surprise. The woman approaches to find out what's happening and is also surprised to see the protagonist. She asks him what he's doing, and Tendou gets nervous but manages to explain that he's sorry and had to use the water pipe to climb down since the stairwell of his building is infested with zombies. Surprisingly, the man invites the protagonist to stay with them, saying it's still safe there. However, the protagonist declines the offer as he has other things to do. Before continuing, the protagonist introduces himself as Akira Tendou and suggests that perhaps destiny wanted them to meet this way, expressing his pleasure in seeing them all. The man introduces himself as Kasaka, and Tendou tells them that he's going to get some groceries. He offers to bring them anything they might need, and the woman asks for double-ply toilet paper, which Tendou readily agrees to bring. He sets off on his journey through the city on his bicycle, realizing that there are more zombies than the previous day, and they are starting to notice him. Despite the danger, Tendou is resolute, stating that he'd rather be eaten by zombies than go a second longer without beer. Eventually, he arrives at his destination where he can get as much beer as he can drink. However, due to his excitement, he doesn't notice that another bicycle with a camera is following his every move. Using some force, he enters the supermarket and happily begins searching for any type of beer. Inside the store, he notices a girl drinking water and collecting the remaining bottles. After closely observing him, she wonders if he's a survivor and notices that he was singing a very strange song. She considers the possibility that he might be crazy, thinking that he might have scared Kasaka earlier. Trying to act normal, Tendou asks if she went shopping too and mentions the difficulty of going out with so many zombies around. He attempts to strike up a conversation with her, but the girl simply ignores him. The protagonist becomes very nervous and confesses that he would stay home all day drinking beer, but unfortunately, he ran out. When he looks back to his side, he realizes the girl has left without saying a word. Worried by her departure, he apologizes to her and suggests that, given their situation, maybe she'd like to exchange phone numbers. The girl takes out her cell phone and tells him that's none of his business. Still, she questions him about risking going out to buy something non-essential, suggesting it's not a priority mission. The protagonist doesn't understand what she meant. During the conversation, a high-speed truck approaches them. The girl tells the protagonist that she can't see herself working with someone who doesn't know how to analyze risks. Zombies start entering the supermarket, and now both the girl and the protagonist are in serious trouble. The girl decides not to decrease her chances of survival by giving him her number. Zombies rapidly approach the girl, prompting the protagonist to try to save her. However, the girl ends up saving him instead. He's left puzzled as, in that moment, the high-speed truck crashes through the supermarket's glass, causing massive damage. It defeats all the zombies in its path and also leads to the girl ending up on top of the protagonist, leaving him astonished and lying on the ground as she quickly departs. When Tendou finally manages to react, the girl is already gone. He notices that his bike was hit by the truck and starts to complain, but then he sees the girl passing in front of the bike, which amazes him once again. As he watches her leave, he reflects in solitude on what the girl said about analyzing all the risks, realizing that the things he saw in zombie movies might actually come true. He remembers the girl's beauty and how impressive she was to him, wondering if he'll ever see her again. However, he's interrupted by a zombie, reminding him that now isn't the time to think about such things. He starts running, looking around to find any means of transportation. Suddenly, he spots a motorcycle and quickly gets on it, declaring that this vehicle is much better. Tendou recalls his decision to start with a bicycle due to the availability of keys during rush hour, making it easier to move around. However, he realizes there's a better vehicle option and decides to take a larger motorcycle, feeling extremely happy about it. He enjoys the journey, even using a car door as a ramp to avoid a zombie. After the impressive maneuver, he almost loses control of the motorcycle but regains it. In the afternoon, Tendou recalls his eventful day while climbing up the water pipe. He reflects on meeting a cute girl who had beers and even her dream motorcycle. He considers the day truly amazing. Happily, Tendou returns to Kasaka's apartment and invites them to drink beer with him. To his surprise, he finds the place destroyed and covered in blood, causing immense uncertainty as he fears that everyone in the room might be dead. In the evening, the protagonist continues to lounge, drinking beer and watching zombies on his television. While grabbing another beer, he reflects that he might die today or in 60 years, but there will never be enough time to do everything they want. He believes life is too short to avoid taking risks. He starts writing in his notebook, remembering that as a child, there were many things he wanted to do. He writes that he wanted to confess his love to the girl he liked but always found excuses not to. He repeats this pattern with every goal. He shares that he decided to take 3 days off to have as much fun as he could, and he has already written several objectives in his notebook. He laments his progress and says that if he continues living without doing what he wants, he'd rather be eaten by zombies any day. He adds a 5th objective to his list with great enthusiasm. He wants to grow dreadlocks. That night, he continues to fill his notebook, managing to achieve only 30 goals, leading him to complain. He keeps thinking about things he wants to do, realizing that after quitting his job, what he wants most is to go home, spend time with his parents and best friend, and meet the woman of his dreams. Finally, he feels content after realizing he was able to write down 33 goals. The next day, we see that the girl from the supermarket starts her day at 6 in the morning. She begins her day by exercising on the treadmill while listening to an emergency broadcast for the districts. The broadcast advises everyone to secure their doors and not leave their homes. On the TV, she watches a reporter being devoured by zombies. After finishing her workout, the second thing she does is head to the supplement shelf and take some protein. She then attempts to communicate in vain with the Los Angeles Central Command. The situation appears critical to her. The girl proceeds to create a list of priorities for what she needs to do in this situation. Next, we see a man tying his shoelaces. As he proudly manages to escape, he gets attacked from behind by a zombie at his happiest moment. The zombie manages to bite him, but we discover it was just a movie the girl was watching to learn about zombies. She now knows that there are slow zombies and others that are very fast, confirming her research as she observes zombies outside her window. She concludes that both types of zombies exist in this pandemic, and if someone could identify them in time, their survival chances would significantly increase. She realizes she needs raw data and provisions, and she wants to find the least dangerous area in the neighborhood. We finally learn what the girl did before encountering the protagonist. The bicycle camera he didn't notice belongs to her. She navigates the supermarket, taking only necessary supplies. It's revealed that she even saw the protagonist before entering the store thanks to her camera. She believes the protagonist is harmless, however, zombies might follow him. Confirming her belief, she quickly gathers her provisions, thinking that the protagonist is a classic case from movies, unable to think beyond the present. She's puzzled by how someone like him survived for so long. She hears a truck horn in the distance, automatically attracting many zombies to the supermarket. She ponders how to stop them and realizes that everything that happened was calculated meticulously by the mysterious girl. She concludes that even bad movies can provide good ideas. Upon arriving home, the girl is pleased with accomplishing her goals. However, upon seeing the protagonist, she doesn't understand how someone can find so much joy in a simple beer. She remembers depriving herself of a sweet treat due to her planning and regrets her decision. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more anime videos.